I have an amazing story to share, crazy story, where a village rabbi looked out his window and he sees approaching his house is none other than the village thief. And this thief has got a wagon that's full with hot items. And the rabbi's thinking to himself, why is the thief coming to my home with these stolen goods? He must know I would never consider trading in stolen merchandise. What is he thinking? What's going on here? The thief gets to the door. He doesn't even bother knocking, opens the door, unloads his entire wagon inside the rabbi's living room, and then starts to leave. Where he says, what's going on? What are you doing? What is this? He says, oh, that's the loot from this week. It's like, well, I gathered as much, but why are you leaving it in my house? He says, Rabbi, I'm surprised at you. Don't you remember this past Shabbos, you spoke about the mitzvah, about the commandment of Hashavas Aveda, of returning lost objects. And I was very inspired by your words, and I thought, okay, I want to do this mitzvah. So here I am returning all of those lost objects. This rabbi was taken aback. He's like, wow, okay, he embraced him. I want to wish you success in your new, honest life. And thank you so much. And he sends him on his way. A few minutes later, the rabbi notices that his expensive watch is missing. And he's looking and looking, and he can't find it. And he has a sneaking suspicion that this thief may have ran off with it. So he runs out, finds it, he says, did you take my watch? So he says, yes, Rabbi. How could you do that? Hey, you come to my home supposedly as a righteous person, changing your ways, a Baal Tshuva, and you're returning all these stolen items, and then you go ahead and steal again? And the thief says, Rabbi, I don't understand you. What does one thing have to do with the other? You taught us there's a mitzvah, as a commandment, to return lost items. I'm doing a mitzvah. But stealing? That's my parnasa. That's my livelihood. That's how I earn my living. This story may, at first glance, sound like it doesn't relate to us. But perhaps it resembles us more than we realize. You see, we sometimes tend to be a little schizophrenic. Most of us, I'd like to think, would never consider outright stealing something from someone. Breaking and entering into a home, robbing a bank. Probably it's not the kind of thing you usually talk to your friends about. Hey, you want to rob a bank tomorrow night? I'm guessing that doesn't usually happen. But is it possible that sometimes a person might come home with an item that belongs to their office? Perhaps even a pen or a paper or a stapler or something. Is it possible that you've been in sales and you've sold merchandise that maybe slightly misled the customer? Maybe weren't directly dishonest, but maybe misled. Perhaps even selling a used iPhone. Maybe you aren't 100% disclosing every possible fault and flaw with it. I want to share with you an amazing, amazing concept. It's taught by the Chovos Levavos. That we believe that every year on Rosh Hashanah, on the Jewish New Year, God decides how much money we're going to make. This, of course, assumes you put in an honest day's work, you put in a reasonable work effort. But if you do, then the exact salary amount is predetermined by God. So he says, if someone steals, let's say someone's making $100,000 a year, and he decides he's going to rob a bank and he steals $10,000. So what happens? Number one, he's going to have to answer in the afterlife for having stolen. That's eternal results. But number two, he thinks, oh, at least I got $10,000. No, he didn't. God's still going to arrange for him to get his $100,000. So either that means he's going to get a pay cut that year, or he's going to have a $10,000 car breakdown, but he's only getting $100,000. So stealing not only does it get you a sin, not only might you get caught by the police and get in trouble, but you don't actually get anything out of it. So when it comes to finding our dream job, here are a few lessons from what we learned that if we keep these in mind, we could really have the most amazing job. The first thing is to realize that God's deciding how much we get paid. And therefore, there's no need to steal or to be dishonest or deceptive in any way, shape, or form, to put someone else down, to try and boost myself up. None of that's necessary. To gossip, you'll get what God has in mind for you as long as you put in a reasonable effort. Number two, if God's deciding how much we make, then I don't have to choose a job that I don't enjoy because I think it might give me a higher paycheck. As long as you're working in a reasonable industry with a reasonable expectation for salary, then pick something you like. Enjoy the work that you do. And as an added benefit, if you could do something that you also find meaningful, like the shoemaker who finds meaning to make shoes so that people can walk. If we could enhance our job with a feeling of doing good and making a positive difference in the world, then we add so much more meaning to our job as well. So I want to give a blessing to everyone, to all of us, that we find the perfect job for us, that we do that job honestly and admirably, that it be a meaningful job, make a positive difference in the world, and that we really, really enjoy what we're doing, so that we could truly enhance our lives both in this world and in the next world.